Morning, Karen.
Good morning, Gaynor.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Got loads on, and
Is that a good thing, loads on, or?
oh, it's good. It's good. But you then think, how on earth am I going to fit all the prep work, all the stuff you've got to do beforehand in? So it's good. I mean, it'd be boring if life wasn't full, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But we create these challenges for ourselves, and then we wonder how we're going to do them, don't we?
We do.
So, yeah, it's a bit crazy.
I go round.
So, what have you got on then?
I go around my book and list.
Oh, yeah, your precious book.
My precious book. Sort of getting through it very quickly.
To-do book.
I think I'll be on to book 2 for the next 6 months at this rate. But
well, that's good.
Yeah. What am I doing? I'm prepping. I've got workshops coming up. I've got 2 different workshops coming up.
Yeah.
And then I've got commissions ongoing. And the sketchbook project. And then there's other bits like just painting, just because I enjoy it. But that's sort of been squeezed a little bit. This week particularly, it's been squeezed. What about you?
Yeah, the same. I mean, well, no, because I don't do workshops, so I'm fine on that front. There's just kind of a lot to juggle at the moment. So commissions are being finished. I've got another one to start. I was trying to get one done before the next. Framing stuff and the sketchbook project for the Brooklyn sketchbook project, and then just general work as well in between it all.
It's just
fitting it. It's a nice problem to have, but oh my goodness.
So
oh my goodness.
How do you sort of fit it all in?
Well, I've tried to create designated time for different things.
Right, okay.
So kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, studio days.
Oh, you've gone. And you're back.
You know what's happened? It's family again. I love my family. They always seem to phone at exactly this time. It's perfect. I tell them all, but to be honest, when you're overwhelmed with work like framing and stuff and getting stuff done for commissions, it dictates the deadlines to a certain extent. But yeah, I'm trying to do it all at once and it doesn't work. So I am trying to section off parts of the day to actually do things and get stuff done and create a deadline for myself, because otherwise I get overwhelmed and panic and think nothing gets done then.
Yeah.
If I start overthinking.
Too true.
About you, how do you do it?
I'm just going to pause there, Gaynor, a second. So what do I do? Well, it depends. If I'm in the studio, I really have to sort of have a workspace. I mean, I have my studio time, but it's actually setting up the space so it works smoothly while I'm doing work. So it might be clearing away materials I don't need, creating space where I can put things to dry and I can move around the studio. Because I don't know about you, but it's nothing worse than you've got something wet to dry off somewhere, and you're then searching around looking for somewhere to put it safely so that it doesn't get sort of smudged or
well, I'm very lucky in that respect because I do have my drying rack.
Oh yes, so you've got a ready-made. See, I've got a line of paper just on the floor by the wall, and I prop against the wall or lay flat on the floor. I'm just looking around, but this week was, I mean, I think I spoke to you yesterday. This week I walked into the studio and it was just up to my eyes in stuff, because I'd done a workshop the previous, during the week, and then I had a sale at the weekend, and I had boxes and boxes and boxes and paintings, and I had materials, and everything was in the wrong place. and it just
Yeah, I hate
felt,
that.
and I needed to do some prep work for a workshop, but I didn't have any space to actually work. So I was thinking, how do I start? You know, what do I start? So I ended up having to I moved a lot of older work down to another shed. I mean, I'm lucky that I've got another shed that I can put things in, and just double wrap things to try and protect it a bit better. And at the same time, it's a bit like, I suppose, if you were clearing, I mean, an attic and you come across stuff, don't you? That you think, oh, and you can't quite.
I've forgotten about you.
Can't quite put a whole box away without having a little rummage through just to sort of check what's in it. So there was an element of that, sort of just thinking, oh, you know, oh, I'd forgotten about that, or, you know, so moving things around. So I managed to clear enough of the space to actually get some work done, but I still got a lot to do. There's still stuff everywhere, and so it's a little bit, and I think that clogs up your mind in a way, doesn't it?
It does. I have to have a clear space to be able to get on with it.
But yeah, generally though, if it's not studio work, I just try to, if I've got lots of computer stuff to do, I'll try and group all those things together to do one morning maybe. Yeah. So if it's very easy to just kind of be distracted, and you know, Steve, my darling, calls me a butterfly brain because I do kind of flip from one thing to the next, but it's in an organized way in my head. But I know that can really spread me thin at times, and it will just mangle my brain. So I am trying to be better at, like you said, getting all the admin-y stuff done kind of on a Monday. That's when we do our accountability call, and I try to do admin stuff then following our accountability call. So at least then I've got a bit of a start on the week, and I feel like some of the nasty stuff's behind me, because the admin is the bit that I'm not bothered about and I don't like that much. It's a chore. Let's face it, we're artists, we like to paint. And then if I can do that, you know, studio time Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, today is supposed to be a studio day, and I've got so many life commitments this afternoon that there's no way. So I did do a little bit on Monday afternoon, because I was thinking, well, that's been taken from me, so I'm going to steal it back. So I did have some time playing on Monday afternoon, which was quite nice, which was I was experimenting with colour, but that's a different thing. But it's that balancing, isn't it? It's that kind of swings and roundabouts. But the thing is, if I hadn't set the time aside, I wouldn't have had any studio time at all, really. Yeah. Realistically, it would be very easy to lose the time. Yeah, I suppose if you hadn't sort of listed Wednesday as your studio time, and then realised, well, I can't do it, you wouldn't actually then think you're losing out, and wouldn't then replace that time another time. I'm just trying to look at the sort of, I think it's also the other way of using time efficiently is almost multitasking. Does that sound sort of sensible? So if I'm doing something, I try and, for example, create material that if I'm sketching or if I'm doing anything painting, I'll try and record it for an Instagram post, a social media post. So that I'm doing two things at the same time. So I can then, you know, tick two boxes, like I've got material that I can, you know, one, I'm sharing something I'm actually doing, but also you're not doing anything extra. You're not doing an activity just purely to create a post. You're actually recording something you're doing, and it's two things done. I'm just thinking of other things, other ways that when you're using time. I suppose also if you're at an event. So look, the weekend I was at an event, and it wasn't. I have to admit, it wasn't as busy as we, you know, normally expect. It's a new event. It was a new, you know, after COVID. And also it was just trying to think, the sort of end of half term, and it was a beautiful day, and I think most people were at the beach. But when I was there, I was thinking, right, if you could sit there and just think, right, okay, what do I do, and twiddle your thumbs, or you could sort of plan the week ahead. So I was able to plan the week ahead in my notebook. I could actually build contacts with the other artists that were there, find out what they did, whether there was any way that we could collaborate in the future. Sort of building that network, and actually seeing how people show their work. I mean, have you ever noticed, made the most of it when you're at an event?
Totally. I mean, the first event that when we worked together, we were in the same room, and learning the way you curate your work, seeing how you'd been in beforehand and planned your workspace, and you knew exactly what you were doing. It felt kind of like I was walking into a very professional arena, and kind of thinking, I've got to live up to this. And luckily I had my work was cohesive, so it did sit together. And things like learning that you need small bags as well as just the big ones. It's crazy things like finding out other events that people have been to that really work and are successful and actually show the sort of work that I do. Especially with Shuya, she had experience of Bristol events that I didn't, and that was really interesting. So hearing kind of an exhibitor's perspective of different events was really nice. And it's just kind of learning all those things. And it's like Jill Silverside's kind of help with her admin Mondays and promotion Tuesdays and things like that, the way that different people organize their week. And although it probably isn't for me to do all the things that they do, there's always something to be gleaned and learned. It's a real learning experience when you do an event and you actually take the time to talk to other people. And I think that's probably just as valuable. I mean, obviously we're there to sell work and make contacts and have people kind of sign up to your workshops or whatever, but that it's a really important networking time because we're all in the same boat. Everybody gets to chat, and it's lovely learning from people, which galleries to speak to, or just everything. There's so much that can be learnt.
It is also,
and everybody's they're very, very generous of spirit. Artists are very, very giving people, and all are just happy to share information about different things. It's a lovely community to be in.
It is. And I think also, when you were talking, it just reminded me of everyone has different ways of displaying things and using different equipment, but also in terms of organising yourself, going back to organising yourself at home in the or studio, wherever you produce your art, is, I got advice from other artists about different storage furniture that you can have in your studio, so you can have something that maybe you put all your paints in. Some people use those sort of like picture shelves, those narrow shelves that you can put on.
I've actually got, you probably can't see them, but I've got a couple above my my oils section.
And some people actually use them as either display, but also as
or to work with, drying areas.
And then I've got and somebody I saw on Instagram had a plate rack that I've been using to display work on, but I hadn't thought about using it to dry work with. So I've now got it out in the.
I just do that. I don't know if you can see them up there. There's some on top of my drying rack. The little pieces.
And it's just just all those, and it just helps organize the way you're doing it. I mean, I'm not the tidiest of people. I mean, it's a real stretch, and that's one thing I do. I mean, I suppose I have stuff everywhere because I'm flitting from one thing to the next, and maybe that's just the nature of being an artist. But there are artists that are very organized and have a place for everything. but
incredibly.
I don't. I try to. I
Don't
do
you?
my best.
Do you have your paints in one place?
No.
Don't you?
Well,
I'd
try
never find
to,
them.
and they start off in one place,
And then
as I
they
use them, they end up being around me.
somewhere else.
Pardon?
And they end up somewhere else.
Well, they may not end up sort of in a different part of the studio, but they'll be around my workspace. So they might be on the floor beside me where I've put some in. I put it down on the floor beside me. I won't put it back necessarily into my paint trolley, which has it's all color coordinated. You know, I did organize, so I've got all the reds and yellows together. I've got the blues and blacks. I've got all the whites and neutrals, all organized. But at the moment I can see, at the moment I can see a yellow in the blue, and I've got.
It's not so bad though, is it?
I've probably got about 10 different pots of paint on the table in front of me.
Yeah, but that's because you're working on something, isn't it?
Yeah, I was working on something. Yes, I have to say I was, and I should have tidied up when I last finished. And if I had, I wouldn't be in the position I am now, where everything's everywhere and I've got nowhere to put anything. So,
but I do think every now and again you just need a blitz.
Well, yes, that's maybe the stage I'm at. Blitz time. That's what I need to do, because I was doing I started doing the Louise Fletcher, that Find My Joy taster.
Oh yeah.
And I had no space to actually prep any of the paper. I had to put a huge sheet down on the floor, and almost like you were varnishing a floor or painting a floor, work my way out of the studio, thinking I can't get past it, so I'm gonna have to start there and work my way back. And I let that. And I thought, good grief, you know, I have this studio built for me, and I still haven't got a space to paint.
Well, that's the thing. I think because your studio is quite a lot bigger than mine, you're probably a bit more flexible. Whereas mine's, well, you can see virtually, well, not quite all of it, but I've got an easel with my oils set up over there, and they're on one stand, and then I've got acrylics under here in a basket, and I've got a flat workspace here, drying rack there, and paperwork over there, and there's different kind of containers for like collage stuff and books. I've got a bookshelf over there for kind of reference materials and things. So I haven't got an awful lot of space. So to be honest, if I didn't put stuff away, I'd be doomed. So I think there's something about the luxury of space, because I think the more you've got, the more you kind of spread out. And so I think, you know, I have to be fairly contained. I'm very lucky. The drying rack, which I think we've spoken about before, is my son's cot, as was, and he's now 30. She says, whispering the word. And it's turned on its side and it's got shelves, and it just is a perfect drying rack for me. And it gives me a bit of storage space for small drying on top. So, and I think because that kind of contains, but when I'm doing big work, it just doesn't fit. So I do have to make extra space for large pieces to dry. You know, I have to. And that's often like the side of the easel or down. Yeah. And so that can be a bit awkward. But at least I've got something. But if I wasn't organised, it's such a kind of compact and bijou studio. I mean, it's great. I'm very happy with it, and I love it to bits. And it's my little space, and it's great, and it works. But it does mean that I have to be. If I don't put things back, there is literally nowhere. There's not a floor really to work on. There's not a huge floor space. So, you know, it's...
Yeah, I think with my studio, I think what I need to do is maybe take it all out and put it back in again. Almost, move everything out so I've cleared a space that I can then put things in tidily. Or maybe if it's nice weather, that's what I should do one day this weekend. Just pull it out and just give it a tidy up.
I'll send my neat freak husband over to help you. I don't know if we
He'd
remember one day last summer.
He'd come back traumatized. He really would.
Yeah, one day last summer he decided when I wasn't here to do me a favor and tidy my studio. And I think it was a bottle of wine and a day later that I managed to talk to him.
I think I remember you saying.
Yeah, I was so traumatized by the whole thing.
Oh no!
He just wants to help, and he's so helpful, but he can't stand mess. So if he walks past the studio, I think he kind of develops this kind of strange, please let me in there and tidy it. So I think that's kind of keeps me on track a bit more as well. Yeah, because I'm nowhere near as tidy as he is. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
It's yes, I'm not tidy. I'm not tidy, but it'd be nice to have a degree of organisation, even if it was untidy. But there you go. But
you know where everything is, Karen? Yeah,
vaguely. Yes, broadly speaking, there are certain spaces I go to. I think I heard something on that from Alice Sheridan saying, if you're looking for something and you go, for example, on a computer, you're looking for a particular document and you make a note of the first place you look for it, because that's where it should live in terms of your filing system.
Very true. So very true.
That's what I'm trying to do. So I've been trying, because I was looking for things for the sale at the weekend, things like envelopes. Where have I put my envelopes? I looked down by my cards and I thought, no envelopes. Okay, where are the envelopes? So I then thought, right, I'll look in other. I'm looking around, thinking, looking around for where I put them. Found them. They weren't too far away from the cards.
That's good.
But so they're in the second place. But what I've done now is I've put them with the card underneath the cards. So I've got a box of envelopes, and then I've got all my box of my cards. So that's one thing now. Is in the place I first looked for it, and I think that's how you should organize your studio. Is where would you look for example, where would I look for my collage materials? I've started to put all of the collage materials in the same place now, rather than having different places, purely that came about with space. Thinking, I've got an empty shelf there, I'll put that up there for now.
Yeah, the thing I find with collage materials, I don't know about you, but because what I use, I think like you, we make our own collage materials.
Yeah.
And so I have to leave mine to dry for a while, and then they kind of stack up. Yeah. And it's after months that I think, I better put those away. So they do tend to, things like that. I do let a lot of things slip. I'm just not a tidy person by nature. Yeah. So it's every now and again I do think, I can't work in this, I better sort myself out. But most of the time, it's kind of staying reasonably. But you see it on here, I've got books and I've got I have got mess everywhere as well, kind of around me. But the big things like the paints,
you're organised.
They're in the right place.
Well done.
So I'll take that as a win.
I'll take that as a win. That is really good.
So how do you balance your actual time then? If you're how much time do you devote to workshops and painting and social media and events and sales and all that organisation that goes around with that? And
I think it's just I'm flexible, and it sort of goes in cycles. So if I've got workshops coming up, there'll be the degree of promotion, which will involve social media. There'll be the prep work. There'll be the liaising with the clients or the attendees of the workshops. So it's all those things that you sort of have to build in just before. So, for example, today I'll be contacting everybody that's booked on to the workshop next Wednesday. So we won't be able to chat next Wednesday. We'll have to arrange it for the following week. So sorry, everybody. And then, so I know today I've got to do that sort of organizational admin stuff in advance. And then I need to, do you ever get that sort of, you hankering to do something, you really need to, I need to get back out sketching.
Oh yeah.
Because it's one thing doing commissions, but that is sort of driven by someone else's image or work that they want to do. And I just need to get back to painting. But my first stage is I need to get out sketching first. And I just need to do some go out. So I know that I've got to build some time in for that. But that will have to be, that will just have to be tied, built in around the workshops and around the commission time. I'm just going to have to sort of slot in, do like a little calendar.
Yeah.
Sort of blocking the time to do that. What about you?
Yeah, I think for so long I've been kind of doing that panic management thing, where you think, I've got to get this done, I've got to get that done, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and it's just not productive for me. It's I panic so much that I don't enjoy the process. So I'm trying to actually build structure to my week more, and kind of be determined that that the days I set aside for studio time are pretty much adhered to, so that I know that I can, if I need to do something else and I need to sort something out, kind of admin-y for the house or for parents or for whatever, that I actually do that beforehand and get it over and done with, so that I can, my studio time is protected, like you would if you were in a paid employment position. You kind of work around it. And I think that's the only way to go. I mean, I know I'm very, very lucky that this is my sole job. This is what I do. And a lot of people manage it around, manage their artwork around paid employment, sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time. And that's, that becomes then even more precious to kind of protect your time. But managing your time when you've got part-time or full-time work outside the house, I think must be quite difficult, because there are so many demands on us, on everybody. We've all got families and dogs and cats and aunties and uncles and kids, and whether they're grown or not, there's always something pulling at us. And so I think it becomes, you need to, you can spread yourself very thin unless you actually say, right, Thursday afternoon or Friday morning or whatever is, I have to be, whatever it is, I'm doing art, however it is. And, you kind of, and that's the advantage also of having a studio or a kind of designated art space, because you can walk in and it is all here. I remember the days when I did have to kind of then get it all out, set it all up, do the work, and then put it all away again. Because, that's the other thing, is we do have the luxury of being messy if we want to, or just walking out and leaving it to dry on the side. But when I was working, in the house, from the dining room table or in the porch or what, a different room, that was very difficult from that point of view.
I can imagine.
So I do kind of appreciate what I've got, and so it makes it even more important to kind of use the designated time, because it's precious.
I think
we're very lucky.
I think also, if you've got a lot on, if you don't, I suppose it's being realistic. Try and be realistic about how long things take, and not, if you are running around like a headless chicken and you haven't sort of allocated, right, today I'm going to get X, Y, Z done. You could run around thinking, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and get nothing done. And it's just really frustrating. But it's also, you have been doing, if you've got lots on, if you manage to get something done, just well done.
I know.
Give yourself
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
and sort of
I mean,
realize,
I look back at, you know, you and I and Gina actually in our accountability calls at the beginning of the year kind of set targets, and, you know, things in the world have kind of not been very helpful with our targets and things. And so they've kind of gone by the wayside to a certain extent, but you can still manage the, you know, your weekly plan, because we know what's happening from week, or even your monthly, and it's starting to, like, you know, gradually eke out now to, we could probably plan the next 3 months, maybe, I hope.
We were,
you know, so it's,
if you think about it though, we were even talking about September the other day.
I know.
That is just, I think that's impressive.
It's craziness.
You know,
it is. So, you know, now we're planning, now that work is being created. I've started for an event in September, well, August, September, and then beyond. And that's, you know, that then inspires you to set the time aside. I think that's the other thing. It's getting back into some sort of reality and normal times. You know, it's that, oh, this is what I do. I can organise myself.
You know, happens. It's not going to not happen. So
yeah, it's all going to happen. So
so what are you going to do? What's your today? What are you going to do today then? So apart from, you've got all your family time today, so is tomorrow your studio day? So what's your next
so tomorrow I've got, well, I want to do a little bit more of the taster course from Louise Fletcher, because I do find that having a little play in amongst doing real work actually informs the real work. That's the, you know, that's the joy, isn't it? That is, you know, finding your joy. So I'm going to do I think there's a half-hour or 40-minute session, which I know I can afford time to do. So I'll do that as a warm-up for my time in the studio, and then I'm going to start a new commission. But I'm also working on the sketchbook project in Brooklyn, which I want to complete in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to do a little bit of sketching as well, which should be really nice. So between those two things, and then in the afternoon, I would really, really like to have at least an hour where I full on work properly on something, either the commission or starting to plan for our Take Two exhibition in September. So that's my plan for tomorrow.
That sounds great.
And any mixture of those I will be happy with. So it's kind of a flexible movable feast, but all of those are on the table. What about you?
I'm going to do some more prep work using ink and mark making. And then I need to, today is a lot of computer work, contacting about workshops. So I've got this afternoon, I'm going to be mainly in the office, just typing away, sort of contacting people. But then the rest of the week, I hope to just be sketching. I know it sounds a bit, you know, I just need to get some sketching done so that I've got a bigger body of work to then start on after my commissions. So I just want to start working on those. And also it'll be good practice for when I do the sketchbook workshop next week, because that's a sketching thing. So all the things I'm going to be.
Oh, I hope this weather's good for you next week as well.
Can you imagine if it rains? If it rains,
it won't rain.
I will be here next on Artchatter says, oh my goodness, it chucked it down, and it just, all those plans out the window. No,
I think you're more likely to need sunscreen. Oh no, they all got burnt noses.
Crossed, I should just say bring sunscreen and sun hats. And we'll
like you did to the kids on a day trip.
But that's the one thing about sketching outside. It is weather dependent to a degree. And I just hope that's all right. But yes, it would be nice to actually get out to do some sketching. And,
absolutely lovely.
Just sort of feed my sort of creativity, I suppose. Just enjoy it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Sounds
great. sounds great.
What a week. We'll have to ask if you're out sketching, because I'm going out sketching. I'll have to have sun cream, won't I? Because otherwise it will be I'll be getting burnt. There's no. I'm just looking up at the sky through the window here.
There are no clouds.
No clouds at all.
Beautiful.
It's going to be lovely.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I do like a cloud though, so that's a shame.
Yeah, true enough. I know from your work that you like a few clouds here and there. You like weather.
I do indeed. Nice and wild. There we go. Anyway, I think that's us done, isn't it? I think
it is. Well, happy sorting out your studio day.
Yes. Hopefully next time I'm on, I'll be able to say everything is clear. I've got a lovely work.
Ooh.
I've managed to organise myself and put things where I look for them. Yes.
I will send Steve over, because he will put the fear of God into you and you'll do it.
Right, yes. That's probably what will happen. Or he would run away thinking that's too much to handle.
No, he's like, right, let's just plough on. Okay. Empty it out.
Oh, dear me, that sounds scary.
Very, very scary.
So on that note, do we say cheerio? And I'll get it.
Lots of love.
Yeah, take care. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.